Hey guys, welcome to Daya and Lighten. We're sitting out in the beautiful trees. This is Dee.
Hi everybody.
And so welcome to Inlight. We're about to invite. Here we go. Back. Okay, cool. You just called me then. You just called me then, like just saying, "Oh, the Wi-Fi's not very good." That's always like a newsreader's worst nightmare, isn't it? When they're just like mumbling and then it's all caught on camera. So thank you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all about being what's it, in acting? It's like breaking the fourth wall. So it's like, yes, we are just normal people. All right. So I can see some people jumped on. So we're just going to ask you a few questions, Dee. So thank you for like sitting down with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, and because your story intrigued me because what happened, guys, is I heard a live video of Dee's and she was talking about this interesting thing she's got here. So I'll let her introduce us when we get to it. So I guess the first question is, how would you describe to everyone your life purpose, soul purpose? I put a couple of slashes here: passion path, soul mission. What would you describe that as?
Well, first I think it's the same as most people's, which is returning to our natural selves, because we lose ourselves on the way. That's my own life purpose, but my passion is in showing other people how to do it themselves. So I try to do that by leading by example. I just share my journey, and hopefully people will relate to that and want to do it themselves. Yeah.
And I like what you said about leading by example, because I think we do teach who we are even when we don't even realise it when we're sharing our story.
That's right.
Yeah,
yes.
And it inspires people. I mean, we were having a conversation before where it was like somebody shared their story and someone made the links, and then it's that's what I love about it. All right, so what was your most profound memory? Do you have like any vivid kind of memory of a spiritual awakening or perhaps a soul shift? I know it's a massive question.
Yes, lots.
Lots. So what's one that comes to mind now that is relevant for you maybe now?
A big part of it is believing in yourself, right? Because when I was younger, I tended to have, I'm not clairvoyant, but I can sense when there's spirits around and that sort of thing, and I just blocked all that. So I've always had those little things along the way. But the massive shift that I had was whilst I was driving, which is pretty unfortunate, but it didn't actually cause any issues.
Oh, that's good. You didn't run off the road or anything like that. No, that's good.
But, my guides tend to just show me things. And it was whilst I was driving, they showed me that this earth plane we're on is not actually real.
That's a big.
While I was driving.
Oh, that's not good.
But I felt I felt cool with it all. I'm just going, huh? Yeah. Wow. You know, and I'm looking. Keep remembering this crow. There's a crow sitting on the side of the road on a railing on the side of the freeway. I was on a freeway. I remember looking at the crow thinking, is that real? And that's the strongest memory for me. And I don't normally share this kind of thing because everyone thinks I'm a bit weird.
But we love all that, and we don't even call it weird here. We call it awakened.
Yes, well, that was a massive awakening. So
you woke up with the sense that this earth plane, this physical plane, as I like to call it, is in one. I like to say a grand illusion sometimes, because it is a pretty intricate illusion. Saying. But it is. It's something that feels real, but there's more perhaps as well. That's what you're saying.
The beauty of that is I now understand that we do in fact go on. Yes. This is just one version. One version, yes. Yep. So that's really powerful stuff, having that understanding.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so did you...
And it wasn't until afterwards I thought, really? While I was driving?
It's always the way, isn't it? Maybe the universe was testing your focus levels or something.
They know when we're ready.
Yeah, they know when you're ready, exactly. And I like that you had that spirit animal of the crow. So did you look up the symbolism behind it?
Yeah, afterwards, it has a lot actually. The crow can represent so many things. But obviously in that moment it was relevant. Yeah.
How beautiful. Oh, thanks for sharing that one. So, okay, so you're doing just correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a year meditation challenge.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, could you share what sort of shifted for you as you're going along with it? Obviously, you're still on the journey. So, any reflect. Oh, I got to say the word right. I've forgotten how to read the English language. Reflections or any awakenings that you'd like to share. So, what came up for you?
Well, firstly, the reason I'm doing it is because I was asked the question, what are you going to do to change yourself this year? And I've always had strong feelings around meditation, but I don't do it daily.
Yep.
And so I thought to challenge myself, I do an hour a day. So I'm doing an hour a day every day.
That's amazing.
For a year.
Yeah.
And the method I'm using is not to try and connect to spirit, is not to try and clear my mind, or it is to an extent. I'm just sitting and listening to all my ego's thoughts.
Yeah.
And when you acknowledge those thoughts, they just go away. So the first half an hour, my ego's trying to make me move, get up, you've got things to do, why are you sitting there, blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
And I just listen and witness and watch those thoughts happen. And then eventually it goes away, and eventually I've actually got the clear mind. And that is when you get ideas, and it's not always the way, sometimes for the whole hour.
Yeah, I've had that.
My ego's going, blah, 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 blah,
and then you get
blah, blah.
itches, and you go, oh, I'm gonna do, yeah. So, and the ego is persistent.
Totally. And it thinks it's protecting you.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways it is, because most people don't want to go inward.
No.
So as soon as you sit, the ego's going, don't do it. You've got dishes to do. You've got to do that homework. You've got to, whatever it is that you have
Be on
to
the
do.
move.
Yeah.
I think it stems from that. I think it's the fight or flight response, where it's
Absolutely.
and it's that we had to be. If we sat too long in the caveman days, we would go hungry. So that's over evolution, but now because we've got all our needs met, it's like, now we can kind of it sounds like what you're doing is mastering not even that, it's like acknowledging that it's there.
That's all you got to do is just acknowledge it.
Yeah.
It just wants to be seen. It's like a little 3-5-year-old child.
Yeah.
It just wants to be seen.
Yeah.
And once you see it, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you just go, I see
But what
you
about?
there. Yeah. But it's like, I see you there. And it's sort of, so it sounds like for you that process is quietening the ego.
Yes.
Quietening it. And pushing through that to get to clarity.
Yes.
Yeah.
To allow positive thoughts, to allow any intuitive thoughts to come through. Because it's so clouded by the ego going, someone at the door.
Wait, is this someone actually?
No.
I thought you meant someone was at my door there, because we are expecting people. Okay, so then you mentioned about getting to that clarity point. What did you discover?
Well, a lot. I still am. The first part was now I can separate that ego thought from my reality. I don't know what else to term that. An example of that was I was being trolled, I think the term is, on one of my posts on Facebook by a woman who I know but not well, who's in a bad situation. Who resented something I posted, and she was just at me, and my head was going nuts. It's going, tell her this, tell her that, and I've recognised the difference. I was able to put that aside.
Wow.
Feel where she is, and calmly try and explain things to her.
Yes.
So that was my first massive win. Apart from, the first was actually getting a clear head. Yeah. But that was outside, an external win that I had.
Wow.
And most recently, because it's not every day that I get a revelation or anything, but most recently I noticed, it's interesting you said the fight or flight, that's what the ego does, it's totally fight or flight. And now I'm noticing how different my breathing is. Because I've been looking at my thoughts, I haven't looked at my physicality. And I'm noticing that when my ego is going off, I'm breathing to here.
Yes.
At the moment, when that goes away and my head's clear, I'm breathing from here, and it's long breaths. And I just noticed that. It was probably happening the whole time, but now I've only just become aware.
That's amazing.
I know when it's gone because I'm breathing right down from here.
So
my body's benefiting.
Yes.
I'm not in that fight or flight.
And your heart rate's probably going down a little bit, and it sounds like you're dropping your spirit back into your body. Because
it's connecting me back with my body. That's exactly what it's doing. Because we forget about our bodies.
Yeah, we do.
We abuse our bodies.
Well, we do, and we become so disconnected. And what you said is right. This is where the ego operates, the mental energy, and it's very frantic. And I often find when I meditate, I notice that straight away. It's frantic at first, and it irritates my whole body. And then, as like what you said, getting to the clarity part, then it's like the energy centers seem to calm down, and you feel like you're grounded or something.
Yeah, you're back in your body.
Yeah, back in your body. That's beautiful. Now, I'm intrigued about this. Okay. So can you explain how this came about? Was it linked to the meditation at all?
Yes. In one of my meditations, the last probably 10 minutes, I just kept constantly getting this, make a Native American talking stick. Yeah. Make a Native American talking stick. Make a Native American talking stick. I'm like, what? Make a Native American talking stick.
So it just kept getting louder.
Yeah, over and over and over again. And I thought, right, got it. So
wow.
So I went
it's a very specific message from Spirit.
Oh, yes, yeah. And well, I had begun a women's circle, and I was actually thinking about buying an American talking stick, like an actual Native American from America talking stick that kept coming through, make one, make one, make one.
Okay.
So I researched it, and all the type of wood, the feathers, the colours you use, all have different meaning behind it. So I looked into all that, and I had an idea in my head. So I looked in, I've got a bottle brush tree out the front, and I thought, what does bottle brush mean? I looked that up, and I thought, I'll just cut it. As soon as I thought cut a branch, I thought, not sure I want to do that. And I actually went online and got some pelican feathers, because I loved what the pelican symbolised. But that's not how it works, apparently.
Oh, okay. You're not allowed to buy them.
Well, I'm not allowed to plant it.
Ah, okay.
I'm not allowed to plant it. It kept coming to, and I wanted orange and purple as colours, because I looked into what I wanted my circle to benefit from, I guess, or what it should represent. Yeah. But no. And I even went to my friend's house. He's 5.5 hours north of Perth, and he's got 20 acres. And I thought, look at all the trees here. I should just find a branch on the ground here. And I kept getting an image in my head to go into this local park of mine, and just find a branch there.
That was already off the tree. Ah, okay. Yep.
Which is what my plan was at my friend's property, was to get one off the ground. But I kept seeing myself there.
So you had to go there.
Park.
Yeah.
It's a children's park. There's grass and everything, but there's an area where there's eucalypts and black boys, and I just kept getting images of myself in that little area, picking up a branch. Okay, I'll do that then. And the whole time I've gone to the beach, and I kept finding seagull feathers. Yeah. Thought, okay. And when I decided to finally walk to that park, as soon as I stepped out my front door, this little galah feather flew up to my feet. But okay, I'm doing the right thing then. And as soon as I set foot onto that path, there was my second galah feather. I actually didn't know the galah feathers. I was looking at it going, I wonder what that's from as I'm walking. I got to the park with another one, and then I saw them, there was heaps of galahs in amongst the trees where I was going to go get this branch. So I thought, okay, I'm doing the right thing there. And the 28 feather blew up to my front door as well. So I looked up what these things mean. So I ended up with the eucalypts and those feathers. The twine, when I went to the shops to buy the twine, they just stood out to me, those colours. Yeah. So I chose them. So I ended up looking up what they meant, and I wrote it down so I get it correct.
Oh, beautiful.
So I'll let you know.
Am I allowed to touch it? Or?
Yeah.
Yep, can I show it to the camera? Yep. Yeah. I just want to show it to everybody. So there's the feathers there and the twine. So Dee's going to read out the symbolism behind the...
Thank you. So the white is for peace, healing and truth. The red is for energy, vitality and power. The black is for protection, strength and wisdom. The eucalypt is for leadership, clarity and focus. The seagull's for light-hearted attitude. Mine, I thought it'd be great.
Yeah, me, mine. That's so funny, that's in my head too.
The 28's for happiness to ward off evil. I love that, as to ward off evil. Yeah. And the galah for peace and harmony, which is perfect. And I just loved how it all just came together that way. It wasn't meant to design it. It was meant to just happen.
It was meant to be like an organic process where you listen. Spirit was like, one step at a time. Do this, then this. Yeah.
And instead of planning and going from my head, it was working from my heart.
And that's, I think, what you've said is great, because you've actually embodied the organic process in that, and you've what's the word? It's like you've captured the energy of the intention's still all there. Like, you know, you had that initial thought, but going through organically, step by step, and being shown in those different points.
Just
trusting. Yes, that's what I get from that energy as well when I look at that. Trust, joy, because I love the feathers. I love the seagull one. That's just great. That just makes me so happy, and I love that that's kind of at the front, because it's this, you know, it's like all this joy that we can have, But then what supports our joy is all of those other qualities of being protected. Like, we can't experience joy unless we feel protected, I think. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, we can, but it's coming from not a very grounded place then. And so then you had, what was the other one? You had the red for energy. Yep, so we need energy, vitality. And what was the eucalyptus?
Leadership, clarity and focus.
I love all those qualities
Yeah.
on there. And I guess when you, so then how does it work in, how do you include that in a women's circle, the stick?
Well, traditionally the Native American Indians used it for council, when they were having a meeting in council, and whoever's holding the stick is the one who speaks and everyone else must listen.
Oh.
And in fact they'll have a single large feather like a eagle, for example.
Yep.
And whoever's holding that is the one who responds, and that can be passed around too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that either.
That's
I knew of the
interesting.
stick, but I didn't know of the recipient feather. So maybe I could use my pelican feathers for that.
I think you should. I think you should. That would be great.
So it's used in a lot of circles use it now for that reason, and particularly with women, we know
we get excited.
like we are now.
we talk.
So this makes us sit and listen and gives the person space to complete what they have to say without interruption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really important, especially in women's circles when it's, you know, being in the company of women, actually having to hold that space, because there's a lot of, probably, I would imagine, vulnerabilities, truths that come out, realizations, and the person needs to feel, it sounds like what that does is it allows the person to have, to be in control of how long that they speak, and holding the space, they're almost holding the space to themselves as well.
Yeah, and it is a little bit empowering to have that stick in your hand and know that people are going to listen to you, and know you're going to be heard. That's so important, knowing you're going to be heard.
Yeah.
Because in the intimacy of a circle, you want to be able to share and know you're going to be heard and received. So.
And feel secure. I'm so in awe of that. Like, when I saw you,
it's so much fun making it.
Yeah. It's the creating part of it too, isn't it? Like, just everything about it. I love it. And thank you so much for sharing that, because I really think that's going to encourage some people there with that. I like that. So, this is another big question. Well, I don't do little questions on this show. I like to do the big whoppers, the big whopper, the jumbo burger size questions.
It's good. It challenges me.
Yeah, and it's, I guess sometimes we don't, we're rushing around in life and we don't think about these things sometimes until someone asks us and we go, oh yeah. So, okay, big question. What is your vision for the collective consciousness? Well, and I guess that ties into your vision, but for the world, like, what would you like to?
That's actually easy for me to answer.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That's my whole drive. I'm not saying I can actually change or help everybody.
Yeah.
But my vision is a world full of people finding their purpose and living it.
That's so nice.
If everybody was doing what they're here to do, what an amazing planet we would have.
Oh, this is why I love the big questions, because then when people answer them, it gets me all emotional. But it's like, I'll just repeat that. Like, so every person living their purpose, and that's
giving a gift, bringing a gift to the world, because we all have a gift, no matter how big or small. We all have a gift. So if everybody's living their purpose, everybody benefits.
And I think what's stopping, when you said that, it made me think of when people stop living their purpose, or they deny it, or they suppress it. You know, and sometimes that's because of society tells you, you know, no, you have to conform, or you can't leave your 9-to-5 job, and there's a lot of fear attached with some people living their purpose.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a big part of it is feeling like an idiot.
Yeah.
Because no one else is really doing it. And that's where people like ourselves who are actually living it and showing others means they can do it too. We're showing them they can do it.
Yeah, so it's like, and we can feel like that sometimes, that we're in our own worlds and we go, and like you mentioned, sometimes feeling like an idiot, and it's like, you know, and it sounds like a harsh word, but sometimes we can really be hard on ourselves though.
We're hardest on ourselves.
And the language we use sometimes can be just like, I know that I've struggled with that, like that, especially getting out of a 9-to-5 into doing this full time, is that judgment. And the judgment comes from ourselves the most. and then I think sometimes we think everyone's judging us, and maybe they are, maybe they're not. But how are we ever going to know? Unless they tell us, I guess.
If we treat other people the way we treat ourselves,
we don't have any friends. Exactly. No. And I think, we need to be our own best friends. So thank you so much for sharing that, because that's a beautiful vision, and I hope and pray I'm going to help you do that as well with you sharing your message. So what's your spiritual business, and how can people find you? So maybe just the first part, what's your spiritual business first? Yeah.
Even that's a bigger question than my vision, because it's in so many parts. It started with because I've grown up as a tomboy and in male-dominated industries and had male friends all my life. So it was actually, I call essential oils my gateway drug.
Gateway.
Because, well, they're mind, body and soul, right? So they awakened me a little bit to other healing modalities and that sort of thing. So that's the
feminine?
Yeah, definitely more about feminine, for sure. Yeah. That's not to say that, guys, it's not going to make you girly. But that awakened me to other options. And so I ended up seeing a kinesiologist. So I learned personal profiling. I went and did psychic intuition development, all those sorts of things. I then got my theta healing certificate, which is about releasing subconscious beliefs. Hello.
Now I know why we were meant to meet.
All those things that are stopping you from living in your purpose, I can help with. So that's my biggest passion, is the theta healing. But then I went on to learn a few other things. So now I've got my life coach certificate.
Yes.
So that everything I do falls under that umbrella. So depending on what people want, I can pull from different parts of my business to help.
I like that.
Yeah. But my niche or my speciality is spiritual personal growth.
Spiritual personal
which helps with everything. So whatever your goals are, I can help with.
I think that's perfect what you said. Everything is like, and I shouldn't use that word perfect, because I don't know why I say that, but we check ourselves with language. I would say that is very inspiring. I'm going to change my language, because I've struggled with perfection, and I don't like that word anymore. I'm like, I'm sick of that word. So another adjective is inspiring, and you've opened a whole other can of worms there with theatre healing, because I love theatre. And can you go into, so actually, I just want to rewind for a sec. What I love about what you said is that you've discovered a lot of different things on your journey, different healing modalities, and I think this is the thing, is sometimes, society says we've got to pick one thing, and I disagree.
Obviously I disagree too. And you got to find your niche. You only help that one person.
Yeah, and all that sort of branding stuff, like, you've got to just do one thing. And I just kind of go, maybe there's things we gravitate more to daily, perhaps.
Absolutely.
That maybe people ask of that service of us a lot. But then I think, like, what you've done is great, because you've done the theatre healing, all those different things, and spiritual growth. It all ties in to, how can I serve this person? And it doesn't matter what category it's in. You draw from what you need at the time. Yeah. And that's the beauty.
And that's what I do with the life coaching. I tailor make it to whatever people need. So I helped one client, which is in a change of career. So I helped her through that. And in 3 sessions, she was off on her way and happy. Yeah. There's someone else I'm helping with health, weight loss, and that sort of thing. Yeah. So and that all of that, the blocks come in, the fears, all those sorts of things come in. So
exactly. It doesn't matter what problem that they have, they can come to you, and you're going to be able to draw on all of those tools from your own self-exploration, discovery, and actually tailor it to them and be present to their needs. And I think that's the way, I don't like to say the word should, but I think that's the way it should be. Come to recognise, like, egoic language, but I'm going to use it this time, because I think that's the way it should be, is that we use all of our life experiences and what we've discovered, and not just like try and go, this is my one thing and I can't use that thing over there because I have to, that limits us, I think, as well. So, and that's what I love about your energy. You're very creative. This is why we get along. Beautiful.
We've only just met, by the way.
Yeah, I know, we've only just met. We're just like, but there was, it's funny. But, we're a mutual friend of ours said we needed to meet. Yes. And I understand why. So just want to give your business name to everybody as well.
Sure. My business name is Flourish with Deanne. I'm on Facebook, Insta. I have a website. It's .com.au, flourishforjan.com.au website.
Beautiful.
Where the word flourish came from actually is I started running flourish events where I have other people present from other modalities, because I know not everyone's going to resonate with me. And I went to a bunch of different things. I don't necessarily use all those things. So, and I've had a hiatus from that, but I'm starting again.
Beautiful. Sometimes you need that rest as well. Like, I think it's important.
If I don't feel passionate about it, then it's not going to get
recharge. Yeah, exactly. That's, all right. So, I think we're done. But thank you very, very much. I really enjoyed this conversation, and it's amazing. Conversations can be very soul shifting as we're doing it. This is what I love about the present moment, and we go from next moment to next moment, and a lot of things that you've said really validated things in my own purpose. So this is the thing, guys. Get out there and actually speak to people, ask what they want to do in their life, because you might find through their story that it helps your journey. Cool. Peace, angel blessings. See you later.
Bye.